Hello and welcome. If you find today's tutorial helpful, please like and subscribe, it really helps. In today's tutorial, we are going to be retargeting Mixamo animations onto a MetaHuman. Unlike my previous tutorials, I am going to start from the very beginning and teach you every part of the process. Let's begin. Here I have UnrealEngine Preview 2, and I'm going to open up a blank project today. You can choose a third person or whatever works best for you. But for my purposes, I only need a blank project. So let's create that. Once UnrealEngine is open, we need to first do some housekeeping. I want to create a folder. Call this IKRetargeting. Next, I want to create another folder, call this Mixamo. We'll be using these folders later. Next, we want to open Bridge. You would do that here. If for some reason Bridge is not in the list, like it is here for me, go to Plugins and type in Bridge. It will ask you to restart. Do that now. Okay, once we've restarted, we can close the plugins window. Now we want to go here and click on Quixel Bridge. Of course, you will need an account with Quixel. I will presume at this point you already have an account with Quixel.com. You would click here to sign in. And then once that process is complete, we want to click on MetaHumans. Now, I will not be using custom MetaHumans today. I will be using a MetaHuman preset, which is freely available to everybody. So you would choose one of these characters, go ahead and do that. You can either hover over and click this button here to download, or you can click on the character and click download here. I don't need to do that today. I have already downloaded this preset, and that is the preset that I am going to be using today. Once you have completed the download, which will take a while depending on your connection and machine, hit this add button and it will import a MetaHuman into UnrealEngine 5. Once your MetaHuman is imported into UnrealEngine, you will see these dialog boxes. On each one of them, click Enable Missing, and you will be asked to restart the engine. Click Restart Now. If you do get any of these dialog boxes, just hit Save Selected. The engine will now restart. Once UnrealEngine has opened back up, we can now close Bridge. We don't need it anymore. If you click down here on your content drawer, it will open the content browser. Now we should have inside the MetaHumans folder our character. We can drag that into the editor and go over here to the details panel, click on location, click here, and it will set the character to 0, 0. Okay, that is our MetaHuman character imported. Next, in your browser, go to Mixamo.com. If you already have an account, click here to log in. If you don't have an account, click here to sign up. You will need an account to proceed. Once logged in, you will be presented with this page. What we would need to do first is obtain our Mixamo character. Today I will be using this Y bot. If for some reason this character is not in the window here, you can click on characters and go to the search box and type Y bot. And this character will be here. You click on the character, use this character. There we go. Clear the search box. Right, so before we do any kind of animations, we need to export this character from Mixamo and import it into Unreal Engine 5. So we hit download, we choose FBX and T-pose, hit download. Once this has completed, go back to Unreal Engine. Now we are back inside Unreal Engine and we need to import our Mixamo character. So click on the content drawer, go to your content folder, click on the Mixamo folder we created earlier, and then inside this folder, right click, import to game Mixamo. Now what we need to do is go to my download folder, and we need to click on our YBot FBX and import. You will be presented with this dialog box. Hopefully you've seen this dialog box before, but if you haven't, this is where you would choose a skeleton and all the other import settings. For now, we are leaving it at default. We are leaving skeleton empty, because when we do this, it will create a skeleton for our Mixamo character, and that is what we want. So hit import. Don't worry about these warnings, they're not important at the moment. Okay, so in our Mixamo folder now we have these files. First, I want to right click and create a new folder and call this materials. Next, I'm going to drag our materials that were created into the materials folder. Next, I want to click on our skeletal mesh and I want to rename this Mixamo. And then go to the skeleton and rename the skeleton Mixamo skeleton. And also rename our physics asset to Mixamo physics asset. And that's it. Now we have, if we click on the skeletal mesh, our Mixamo character. Fantastic. I'm going to save all now as a precaution. Now we are going to need Mixamo animations. So we're going to go back to mixamo.com. Now we want to click on the Animations tab. From here, we're going to choose animations that we want. Make sure that you do choose animations with some root motion for testing purposes. But other than that, it's up to you what animations you choose. Right, so we're going to choose an animation, and once we choose one, we click on it and it will be displayed in this window. From here, you can adjust these settings to your liking. There are plenty of Mixamo tutorials out there that teach you this. I am not going to be changing any of the settings. I'm just going to be simply using this animation as is. Okay, so once you're happy with this animation, what we want to do is click on download and choose FBX format. Frames per second is on 30, which we will leave. And skin, we want to choose without skin. That is very important that here you choose without skin, because we already have a skin that we have imported into Unreal Engine. Hit download. Once it has downloaded, we go back to Unreal Engine. Okay, back in Unreal Engine. Inside your Mixamo folder, create a new folder and call that Animations. This is where we will store our Mixamo animations. Click on the Animations folder and go inside. Right-click, Import to Game Mixamo Animations, and choose the FBX file that you just downloaded. This time, when the dialog box opens up, you must choose the skeleton. In our case, it is called the Mixamo skeleton because that's what we named it in the previous process. So with the Mixamo skeleton selected, scroll down and change anything else you may need to change. I don't need to change anything at this time. Hit import. And now we have our first Mixamo animation imported into Unreal Engine. Now go back to mixamo.com and download all the animations you need. Simply repeat the process. I will do it one more time just for clarity. So let's choose another animation. I will choose this elbow punch. So I click on it. There we go. Hit download. FBX without skin, 30 frames per second, and keyframe reduction is on none. Hit download. Go back to Unreal Engine. Inside your Content Mixamo Animations folder, right-click, Import to Game Mixamo Animations, select the file you just downloaded, open. In Skeleton, choose Mixamo Skeleton and hit import. And there we go. Again, repeat the process now for as many animations as you need. I have now imported all my animations that I will be using today into Unreal Engine. Hopefully you've done the same. It's time to now move on and retarget these animations. Earlier we created this IKRetargeting folder. Let's click on that, and inside I want to create some assets. First, we need to create 2 of these IKRigs. So we right click, go to animation, go down to where it says IKRig and click there. This dialog box then pops up and asks you to pick a skeletal mesh. From here, we're going to search for our Mixamo character and we click that. We then want to name this Mixamo, forgive me, Mixamo IKRig. Next, we need to create our MetaHuman IKRig. Now this one is slightly more complicated because we need to know which skeletal mesh we are using. To do this, we click onto our MetaHuman that we dragged into our scene earlier. Hit here, Edit Blueprint. It will then open up the MetaHuman blueprint. It may take a while if this is your first time opening it. Inside our MetaHuman blueprint, we want to make sure we click here on Viewport and then select Body. In the Details panel, scroll down to Mesh and you will see Skeletal Mesh. Take note of this name here. It says here F Med UNW Body. What this means, the F is for female, Med is for medium, this here is for underweight, and then the body is for body. So we know we are using the female, medium, underweight body. This is important, so remember this. That is the body you are using for your MetaHuman. We can now close the blueprint. Go back to your content browser and into our IKRetargeting folder. Right click, Animation, and create another IKRig. This time, you want to choose your body. So for me, it is F, medium, underweight, and we are looking for, this time, preview. If we click on that, it will then create a new IKRig, and we want to call this IKRig. Sorry, IKRig. And that's it. We've now created our IKRigs. First, I want you to click on your Mixamo IKRig. And this is what we have. It's created an IKRig with our Mixamo skeletal mesh in it. Click on your MetaHuman IKRig and ensure that it's created a MetaHuman IKRig. As you can see, it's chosen the preview body that we selected. You can choose from here other skeletal meshes, but that's beyond the scope of this today. And so just work with the preview mesh for your particular body. Let's close this for now. Right, go back to your Mixamo IKRig. And here we are now going to create chains of bones for our skeletal mesh. Our first task with Mixamo character is to click on hips, right click, and set retarget route. Click here, and now it should identify that as our retarget route. Okay, next we need to create chains of bones for our various bones here. I like to begin with the spine. So I click here, or you can click here, look, on the various bones, but I like to click here. I choose spine. I then hold down shift and I go all the way to neck here, and I click neck with shift held down, and it selects all those bones for you. And as you can see, highlighted here in green, it has now selected all our spine bones. I then right click with those selected over here, new retarget chain from selected bones. This dialog then pops up. Here we want to ensure the name is spine. Click OK. Great, we now have a spine chain. Go back over and select head. Choose new retarget chain from selected bones. Now we have this dialog popped up with head. Click OK because we want to name it head. Now we have head selected. At any time you can click on these chains, and in green it will highlight the bones that are in that chain. Okay, let's move on. Next, I want to click here on the shoulder, and just on that bone I'm going to new retarget chain from selected bones. This time I'm going to rename this to clavicle R. Hit OK. Then on the opposite side, I select the bone, I right click over here, new retarget chain from selected bones, and name this clavicle L. Now I want to do the upper arms, so I select here, and as you can see I have here right arm, and I select a new retarget chain from selected bones, and I want to call this upper arm. It is important that you name these in a specific order that you can remember, and then between IKRigs you will see that we name the bones the same names, so that will become more apparent later. So anyway, let's create an upper arm and do the same for the other side. So here is left arm again, new retarget chain, and we will rename that to upper arm L. I've made a mistake here. I've named that L instead of R, so we can just change the name here, and there we go. So now we have a spine, a head, a clavicle R, a clavicle L, upper arm R, and upper arm L. Now we're going to repeat this process. I'm going to speed it up slightly, but you would select the bones, like for example, now we're doing the forearm, and I will put my settings up on the screen shortly. Next, we move on to the legs. So far, I have spine, head, clavicle R, clavicle L, upper arm left, forearm right, forearm left, and hand R. For the legs, we will break down the legs again into, here we have right upper leg, so we right click, new retarget chain, and we call this upper leg R. And then I will speed up again and repeat the process. For the feet, I want to select these three bones here, which are right foot, right toe base, and right toe end. And new retarget chain from selected bones, foot R, foot R, and then repeat the process for the opposite side. Okay, so far we have these bones. Great. Now we have to do the tricky thing, which is the fingers, which takes a little while. So we go and find our left hand first, and then below that you will see these fingers. For the Mixamo character, we skip this first bone, I believe. No, forgive me, we first go to the left hand middle, and then hold down shift and click on left hand middle 4, and then right click, new retarget chain, and we want to call this middle L. And then we're going to repeat the process for the thumb, the index finger, the ring, and the pinky. Now we're going to repeat the process for our right hand. So again, start with the middle finger, middle 1, hold down shift, go to middle 4. Now let's repeat the process. Okay, so that's the fingers done. Yeah, okay, so what I will say is I'll repeat what I've said in other videos, where ensure that your naming convention remains the same from IKRig to IKRig. It just helps with the auto chain setup later in the process, which I will explain. There we go. So that is our Mixamo IKRig setup. Once it's set up, you don't need to go back and do this again. So I know it takes a long time, but you can move this from project to project and it should work absolutely fine. So hit save and close. Next, we move on to our MetaHuman. Again, like anything MetaHuman, there are a lot more bones in a MetaHuman, and so the process is slightly more complex looking. It's not actually more complex at all. So what we want to do first is select our pelvis, right click and set retarget root. So next to the pelvis now you should have retarget root. Now I need to create a spine chain. So click on spine 01, hold down shift and then click on neck 02. So all of those. Then new retarget chain from selected bones, and it will give you this name of spine 1. We don't want that. We want to call it spine. And hit OK. And that's it. We should have our spine now. Look, there we go, highlighted in green. And then go over to head, right click, new retarget chain from selected bones, and OK. There are a lot of bones in this MetaHuman skeleton. So next, and normally I would just find the clavicle in this mess here. I think it's possible to make the bones slightly smaller in the details panel. I can't find a way to do that at the moment. I presume that there is a way though, but anyway, so I'm going to choose clavicle L and right click, new retarget chain from selected bones, and it gives us the name clavicle L. That is exactly what we want. If you remember in the Mixamo character, when we chose the bone up here around the neck and the shoulder, we had to call it clavicle L. That is why I did it. It's because this bone up here is named clavicle L, and there'll be other things that match that you'll see. So anyway, click OK, and that creates a bone for our clavicle L. Now we need to find our clavicle R. There's a lot here, isn't there? Maybe if I click around, oh, so if I click up there, it does find the clavicle R. Okay, so then new retarget chain from selected bones, and there we go. Now we've got a clavicle R, and then we need to do our upper arm, which is called upper arm L on here. So right click on upper arm L, new retarget chain from selected bones, and it gives us an upper arm L. And then while we're over here, because it's directly underneath, choose lower arm and new retarget chain from selected bones. This time I want to call this forearm. Forearm L. And so now we've got that lower bone there, but I've called it forearm. Right, so let's go back over to the other side. Again, I've clicked here, and just so it takes me to the correct place on the hierarchy, and upper arm R, and select upper yeah, the name's correct, upper arm R, and click OK. Then while we're over here again, click on lower arm R, right click, new retarget chain from selected bones. It's named, we want to name this forearm. R. And that's it. I think our arms are now done. So if we click on spine, we have spine, head, we have a head, clavicle, we have a clavicle, clavicle R on that side, and then upper arm left, forearm left, upper arm R, forearm R. Now we need to add the hands. Again, you'll probably be better searching from this list because just look at that. So there we go. Find hand R, new retarget chain from selected bones, and it's the correct name already, hand R. Then if we click over here and try and find the hand, yep, I think I hit it first time. So hand L, hand L is the correct name, and there we go. So now we have both our arms and both our hands. Next we need to move on to the legs. So I will click on a bone here and it has selected the thigh. That's great. So new retarget chain from selected bones, and we want to name this upper leg L. There we go. And I'm immediately going to jump over to the other side and select that bone there because I can see it, the thigh R. I'm going to name this upper leg R. There we go. Yep, that's selected and that's now created. Next we need to move down to our lower part of our leg, which is calf L, and new retarget chain from selected bones, and it's already named calf L. That's what we want. Again, these are the names that were in the Mixamo IKRig. That is very important. So we click on the other side, calf R, and select that. There we go. Now we need to do the foot, which is directly underneath the calf, and we select foot R, ball R, and that's all I need to do on this foot. So new retarget chain from selected bones, and it's already named foot R. That's what we want. And then on the other side we can click on the foot actually, select foot L, ball L, and new retarget chain. There we go, and there we have it. So now we've got our feet, our calves, our upper legs, our hands, our forearm, upper arm, forearm, upper arm, clavicles, a head and a spine. So now we need to do the fingers. I'm not going to do the toes. I just don't really see the point of it at the minute. So, because our Mixamo character does not have toes, so there's no point. Right, so we need to do the fingers. So I presume that under the hand, so we find the hand, and there we have it, our hand. So we need to find our fingers. And on the MetaHumans, it starts with the ring finger here. So we find our ring finger, which is ring 01R. Ring 01R. And then we simply go down to ring 03R, hold down shift and click on that, and it selects those 3 bones. That is all we need for our retargeting purposes today with the finger, just those 3 bones. There are a lot more bones in the ring finger, but we don't need them. So let's just keep this simple. New retarget chain from selected bones, and we want to name this ring R because that's what it was called in our Mixamo IKRig. Now the next finger, if we scroll down, is our pinky. Choose pinky 01, pinky 02 and pinky 03, or choose pinky 01, hold down shift and choose pinky 03. It selects those 3 pinky bones and new retarget chain from selected bones, and we name that pinky R. Now we have a right pinky finger. Next we scroll down, and the next one seems to be middle finger, so we click on middle 01R, middle 03R with shift held down, and it selects those 3 middle finger bones, and we name this middle, ensure it's named correctly, middle R. There we go. And then we scroll down, and the next bone is thumb 01R. Thumb 01R. Hold down shift, click on thumb 03R. With those 3 bones selected, new retarget chain from selected bones, thumb R, and that's it. We have done our right hand, I believe. Oh, no, I can't count. We've only got 4 fingers, which where I come from is quite normal. Choose index 01R and index 03R. And hold down shift, select new target, new retarget chain from selected bones. Name that index R. Okay, so we have a ring finger. You're not going to be able to see these highlighted because they're hidden under all these. So ring R, pinky ring, middle R, thumb R, and index R. There you go. And what we're going to do now is go over to the left hand. Again, if I click over here, it takes me kind of over to the left hand, and we're going to repeat the process for all those finger bones. Now, I'm not going to talk through all of those. I'm going to speed up the video, but it's exactly the same as the other side, except that this time you will be naming things with _L. So to begin, I choose thumb 01L. Then I select thumb 03L. And with those 3 bones selected, I create a new chain and name it thumb L. Now I'll repeat the process as on the other hand. We now have all our bones in place. Hopefully I haven't forgotten any, and what I'm going to do is just drag this out, and I'm going to do this. You don't have to do this. This is just to show you on your screen the chains that I have set up. That is our IKRigs now set up for both Mixamo and MetaHuman. It's time to move on to the IKRetargeting. Close our IKRig. In our content IKRetargeting folder, right click, go to Animation, go to IKRetargeter and click on that. This dialog box then pops up. Pick an IKRig to copy animation from. We want to copy animation from our Mixamo character because that's the animations we downloaded. So in this instance, we select Mixamo IKRig, and we will call this Mixamo Retargeter. There we go. And then we click on that. And this window will now open. This is our new IKRetargeter itself. As you can see, our Mixamo character is here, and all of our imported Mixamo animations are down here in the asset browser. The first thing we must do is choose a target IKRig. In this instance, we are retargeting to a MetaHuman. So from here, we choose our MetaHuman IKRig that we created. So we click there, and as you can see, it has loaded in our preview mesh. Now, what we need to do before we go any further is check that our chain mapping is set up correctly. So we hit here on chain mapping. There is a button here to auto map chains, but it does it automatically when you first load up your IKRig. But if you make changes in your IKRig, you can hit here and it will reload. What we need to do is go through and just ensure that our target chain and source chain, the chains match up. So this is our MetaHuman on this side, and this is our Mixamo on this side. So as you can see, it's done spine, head, clavicle, upper arm, forearm, hand, thumb, ring, pinky L, middle L, index. Yep. Okay, so it is very important to go through and just double check that it has done it. 99% of the time, as long as your naming convention is correct, it will work here and you won't have to do any changes. Okay, so I think we're absolutely fine. There we go. Yeah, so if for some reason one of these chains doesn't match up, say it chose the thumb chain for your head, you would just change it here. It's as simple as that to match up. If your naming is different between your IKRigs, then obviously you would have to change it here too, just so the chains of bones matched up. Right, let's move on. As you can see with our MetaHuman, there is a problem, and that problem is it is not posed correctly at the moment. Now, with the mannequin, you have to go through another step to retarget to the mannequin, but we don't have to do that here with the Mixamo character. So what we need to do is go up to new pose, and we're going to name this pose Mixamo to MH to MetaHuman, and then click on edit pose here. The bone controls are quite large at the minute, and so I can't see anything. So on the details panel, scroll down a little and you'll see this bone draw size. If you make that smaller, it will make these bone controls smaller. There you go. So it's whatever works best for you. Alter that and then you can see your bones. Next, I just want to move our character over slightly to maybe 160, and it just moves it slightly away, and so it gives us room to work with. Right, so looking at it, we need to match this pose with this T-pose the best we possibly can. Now, I don't like this process. It's virtually impossible to get it to match spot on, but it's what we have to work with. So right, so first I'm going to click up here and just right, so the bones are moving too much. So what I will do is go up here and I want to set this to 5 degrees, and that means it will just move in 5-degree increments. There we go. So with that now done, I click back on that bone and I just want to move this up 5 maybe. Again, you may find a better way to do this than me, and your numbers may be different to mine. I'm just doing it this way for today. Right, so, and then I will lift that up to maybe 50 degrees. Yep. And then the other side to 50 degrees. And then the hand bone needs to go up to maybe 15 degrees. And 15 degrees on the other side. Yep. The legs need to go in 5 degrees maybe. Did do look quite close together, don't they? Okay, let's look at the feet. Maybe the feet need to come in 5 degrees too. There we go. There we go. So the legs are closer together. That may create problems. So let's pull the legs back out 5 degrees. And instead, I'm going to go up to here where we chose our 5 degrees and choose 2.812. And then move it 2.81. That's a little better. Then I'm going to go back up here and choose 5 degrees again. Yep, that's fine. Right, so that looks good from the top. You may... Now, it may have been a second for you, but it has just taken me 3.5 hours to get to this point. And the reason for that is I had 8 or 9 crashes from Unreal Engine Preview 2. If you are experiencing those crashes when you are retargeting animation, I will give you a tip now. During this posing process, ignore the fingers. In Unreal Engine Preview 2, do not pose the fingers, or this retargeting process will fail and you will have a crash. It's as simple as that. This bug does not exist in newer builds of Unreal Engine, so I presume it will be fixed in a release. So do not touch the fingers in Unreal Engine Preview 2. Anyway, let's continue. I need a rest now. You may have to zoom in and go to these finger bones and do these two by 5 degrees each finger. And this is a tricky one, so I'm going to speed up the video. Okay, so on that side, I moved most of the bones 5 degrees. If you do need the numbers, again, you're probably going to do a better job than me. I'm not that great at this, but it looks about right on there. Anyway, we need to repeat the process now on the other side. I'm reasonably happy with that. I'm sure problems may crop up later, but there we go. Right, so what we need to do now, as you can see, if we look from above, the arms need correcting still. So I will click here, go to top, and then we will match these bones up as well. There. And there. And the hands are slightly off, so we bring those back. Okay, and that's it. We now have a pose that almost matches. It's pretty close. Anyway, we hit edit pose once you're happy, and that's it. We are ready to go. Now we go over to our asset browser. And at this point, we can choose an animation and it should retarget. There you go. We are having a problem, look, here, where something is not quite right. So my first check would be, I would go to these auto map chains and just double check one more time. Okay, there is the problem. You see, I have missed something. And we go upper leg, and that was creating the problem. Look, so 90% of the time, for whatever reason, it's just the way my brain is, it will miss something minor like that. I mean, it probably would help if I had my glasses on today, but there you go. Now it's retargeted, and it's pretty close. Let me zoom in. I just always like to check the hands because you do get some strange behavior. What I will suggest is that if you do have any imperfections, is once retargeting is done, although it's a bit of a task, for those animations that haven't quite retargeted correctly, go in and edit the animations in the usual way. Anyway, with that done, we can now retarget these animations to our MetaHuman. So I'm going to select all of these animations. There we go. You don't have to choose all of them. You can choose which ones you want to retarget, but I am going to retarget all of them. Then click here to export animations, and it's going to ask for a folder to save them in. We want to go to our MetaHumans folder, and I'm going to create a new folder there and call that animations. There we go. Click OK. And now it will export those selected animations to that folder and retarget them for you. There we have it. After many hours for me and not so long for you, we have our animations in our content MetaHumans animations folder. We can click on the various ones. Look, there's a punching animation and so on and so on. They're all the ones that I downloaded. With that done, I just want to show you one more way you can now retarget, because you've got these IKRigs and IKRetargeter set up. Go into your Mixamo folder, animations, and you can simply select all of these like so. You can right click like that, go to retarget animation assets, duplicate and retarget animation assets, and it will open up this dialog. From here, choose your IKRetargeter, which is our Mixamo IKRetargeter. As you can see, it's loaded our skeletal meshes. Don't worry if they look strange here, or if they're not in the same pose. It will not affect our animation retargeting. You can add a prefix, a suffix, you can search, or you can replace in your file name. Hit change, go to MetaHumans, animations, click OK, and retarget, and it will now retarget our animations into our animations folder, and we'll be able to use them on a MetaHuman. And here we are. So with this second method, we have now retargeted our animations again. Right, I'm going to show you how to place one of these animations onto your actual MetaHuman. Here is our MetaHuman. Make sure she is selected, and make sure that the blueprint itself is selected, so the top of the hierarchy. Hit add, and then click live, and you're looking for live link skeletal animation. Click on that, then go to auto activate and ensure that's ticked. And then what we need to do is select the body here, and from here ensure that use animation asset is selected, and then it says anim to play. We drop down this list, and here are our retargeted animations. So let's just choose an appropriate one, and there we go. So that's selected. Go back down, scroll back down to your live link and hit auto activate again, and there she goes. She'll just dance in our viewport. And that's it. That's the end of the tutorial. If you found this tutorial helpful today, please like and subscribe. It really helps. Also, if you'd like to share via social media, please do that. That helps too. Up next, I have some DAS to Unreal tutorials, and also custom MetaHumans with DAS bodies and MetaHuman heads. And I'm hoping to bring that to you in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.